record button is hit.
Alright, sounds good.
Much professional. Alright, Andalusia. Or as I like to call Catholic Africa. Uh,
That's
they get holy
just not
orders.
true.
Um, yeah.
That is
How's it
technically true.
how's it going, my man? You subbed at one
A lot
session.
better than it was at the beginning of the session.
Yeah. Somehow got that feeling.
The beginning of the session, that meat grinder in Egypt was just awful. And
What was that
I
deal?
was the deal that was struck eventually was Tunis gave back the conquered lands, and the war essentially just ended.
Yeah,
Um, Mamluks just wanted their lands back, and
that's it.
Tunis didn't want to give it.
Yeah,
That was the conflict there.
it's funny. Uh,
Um, the things were not looking super great for a while there. Manpower was at zero for a good portion of the early part of the session. The economy was dreadful. It was
what
at,
was it?
minus. It was.
Oh, you
I
mean
was
total.
losing 10 ducats a month. It was really bad.
What was the
The
actual
trade
total
fleet
income?
was 3 ships,
You don't need trade.
which
It's
was
still
a
your lowest
problem.
income. Let's be honest.
Yeah, yeah. It's
You
still,
got two merchants. Like,
having control of the of that node that feeds into Seville is
yeah.
useful, and not having control of it is actively detrimental. And building trade ships to siphon control away is not a bad idea. Period.
Yeah.
So it just find very
Cancer.
little reason to have not built up that trade fleet.
Which is now around 35.
Yeah.
So you tripled it. Tripled it? No.
I
What's 10
I
times? What's
increased
the
it by
number for
times
10?
10.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the actual word for that? I forget. Doesn't matter.
Decim something.
Yeah. You're an autocracy instead of plutocracy.
Yes,
questionable.
I am an autocracy because Calico put it on Estates General, or the totally not Dutch government.
But that doesn't change it really. That it still allows
Um,
plutocracy. Like it changes you off equita, I'm pretty sure, which means you can do plutocracy, or autocracy, or feudal nobility.
yeah, it definitely changes you off of Icta.
Yeah. So I think he should have picked plutocracy just because, like chuck a merchant into the Seville node, even though you don't have power, collect.
Yeah,
It's better than
I
10% unjustified.
I I was considering doing that, but going to the next level of government reforms just seemed better at
Yeah.
the time, so I did that instead. Um, Also, at the beginning of the session, for whatever reason, Moroccan wasn't an accepted culture.
Yeah. A lot of these
So
weren't.
that was something I fixed as soon as I
Actually,
had the dip loader
you
to it.
only had Andalusia, I'm pretty sure.
Yes, it was Andalusian, and I think that was it. I think every single culture in the empire proper was not
I
accepted.
assume it's because he reformed into Andalusia and had to, like,
And he gave back the
change.
Spanish provinces.
Yeah.
When you form Andalusia, Andalusian becomes your primary culture, regardless of what your primary culture was.
Yeah.
So he became Andalusian, and then sold every Andalusian province he had back to Spain.
Which is funny.
So he had no provinces of his primary culture,
It was fun.
which was a problem, but it is a fixed problem. Um, the issue is there's just a lot of little cultures in the Empire, and
Yeah.
none of them are of Andalusian. So even when he gets to Empire rank, it's not going to help very much.
And can you even get to Empire rank? Yeah, you are, actually.
Yeah.
You're already there. You
Yeah.
just need to click the button. At
So,
75
just-
prestige. Which would be nice because then you get all the, an extra, I think, 5 estates. Yeah, you get 5 more
Yeah.
estates, which will be Gucci.
And that will be very helpful, especially when more conquest of somewhere happens. I don't know where this conquest is going to happen,
I
but
feel
it's
like
gotta happen
it's
somewhere.
either killing Spain or destroying Tunis. Those are the only 2 real ways that he can go.
Going into Spain, well, he could also go into Congo, but
Well, yeah, but if you were gonna do that, you would have done it last session, and if he
yeah,
said no to it last session,
yeah, it just there, there. No matter which way he expands, he's going to end up upsetting one of his former allies,
and honestly,
and
all of his former allies, like which are Tunis and Congo, just even if they combine together, you could still wipe the floor with them.
Tunis's army just isn't strong enough or numerous enough to stand up. The thing that's gonna hurt with Tunis is attrition, but you know,
Yeah,
it's not gonna hurt that bad.
which you've only got 59
Congo,
max manpower, which isn't good at all,
yeah, yeah,
like at all. And
yeah.
Congo, they have their. I feel like them and Songhai are like the Prussias of Africa, but
Mm,
Congo is just too beaten up at the moment to really do
yeah.
anything.
They've had to restore themselves somewhat. Um, so that would be a potential opportunity. But really, the Andalusia is designed to go into Iberia. They're designed to already have a good portion of Iberia, actually, but
Yeah,
that's what they're designed to do.
yeah.
If I had to recommend a course of expansion based purely on game mechanics, ignoring player diplomacy, any of that, Spain would be the best
Yeah,
route
definitely.
for expansion.
Because the only way he gains money otherwise, like by attacking Tunis, would be taking Katsina, the Katsina
Yeah,
node. And even
yeah,
then, it'd only be, what, around 10 to 15
it's not
ducats
that
of
much.
income overall from the provinces and trade.
And if Tunis, or rather Andalusia, moves into Spain, there's a lot of colonies he can just take.
Yeah, but there's also a lot
Like,
of
he can essentially secure the Caribbean in one fell swoop so long as he takes Gibraltar to secure the crossing.
I doubt he'd be able to take the Caribbean because Great Britain, even though they're allied at the moment, I feel like Caribbean they'd want and be able to secure the Caribbean in any future wars just because Andalusia has no fleet to speak of, like at
Yeah,
all.
it would it would just
He'd be better off
depend
taking
on
America.
agreements that could be made there. Like maybe Andalusia helps Great Britain get its North American colonies back
Yeah, like
in
Andalusia
exchange for just ceding the Caribbean.
should take either Portugal or the America, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, they Portugal Portugal just needs, like, as soon as
Brazil,
Spain
Portuguese, I mean.
takes a little bit of damage, Portugal is just gonna fold. They
Well,
have no land capabilities. So long as Andalusia can get a land route to them, aka have Gibraltar and 3 other provinces,
yeah,
Portugal's just screwed. They would
Portugal.
need the best allies to survive that.
And by that point, if Andalusia has gotten to them, like they've already all their allies that they've had, which is the only ones they can have really is France and Spain. It's like if they've gotten through them, it's already over.
There's no hope by that point.
Uh,
They're just screwed.
Andalusia is like one of the strongest military armies in the entire game, in my opinion.
Yes.
They've got that
It
15% morale, 15%
and
land
the
fire.
land fire resistance
Yeah,
is so good, and it just gets better.
because land fire becomes more and more and more the
Yep.
focus of every army.
And so you just take less and less proportional damage as the game goes on. And it means that Andalusian armies can hold against far better odds than they should be able to, and win against far better odds than they
And
should
like
be able to, simply just by not
with their
taking damage.
especially with their discipline, which reduces the amount of damage they take, and like it'll be increasing their tactics. All they have to really do, they've got the morale from their ideas. They just need to focus like getting discipline. So next idea is offensive, in my opinion. Get that last 5%, and
Offensive would be a good one.
even though they don't have any quantity to speak of, well, they have 106 force limit, but they don't have any real manpower. They can just stand there and wipe armies off the face of the earth.
Soak up damage and
Still deal
more
it
back than they're taking.
Exactly. Like, especially seeing as Spain has taken naval and maritime ideas. Portugal just took quality, but had one idea at the start of the last session, and now only has 3. Like,
so they're going slowly anyways.
And France has defensive, so they're only morale. So they're paper troops that'll just stand there until they're dead.
If Andalusia has any way of either distracting the Spanish fleet or getting troops,
they don't even need to distract it.
Before
they're allied with Britain, which could only really mean one thing: is just attacking this Eastern Europe, Eastern, whatever the fuck you want to call it. It's east of me, and yeah, it'd just be Andalusia and Great Britain, maybe some other allies somewhere, like maybe they can convince Inca because they've always been friends with Great Britain, and strike back.
And Spain is, colonizing right next to the Inca, so they have a vested interest in joining in and just taking those.
Yeah, even like Texas, sure Texas has nothing to really do except take the Spanish Mexico, so that's another ally again. Like, there's so many allies to kill these 3, and colonialism in EU4 is like you have to dominate it and keep good allies. Currently, they've got a handle on it. Yeah, currently they've got a handle on it, but they're just so spread out over the world that they can't win. Like, they need a strong, like, if Spain was doing it right, kill Portugal, get a hold of, like, South America in colonies. I'm not saying he's doing it wrong. Well, I am, because he went 2 naval ideas, but, take South America, kill Portugal early, and get a strong Asian ally, so that when he starts expanding into Asia, if he ever does, because it's not really needed when there are player Asians. It's like he just needs to have a handle on his own colonies and his own state. It's like colonial games in multiplayer are just so hard, like, for my mind, because I always think of like land expansions, and it's just, you're so spread out everywhere. You can't be everywhere at the same time. You can't focus navy and land and have a good shot at holding both. It's just
dominating a continent is critical.
Exactly. So like, even less colonial Spain.
Defend yourself.
Yeah, like, I think Spain again should have killed Portugal, should have killed Morocco, and like solidified his hold here, working with Ottomans in the Europa setting while colonizing. That would have secured his Europa game and allowed him to fully focus on colonizing.
I very much agree with that.
Currently, Andalusia can just go smack him with other potential rivals that he's made. Including like Portugal, who's all over the place. Like, the Asians probably want their Indonesian land back.
I have no doubt that,
he's got too many enemies and not enough friends.
Very much like to see Portugal get knocked down a peg after just yoinking Indonesia.
But so that's basically Andalusia's diplomatic and expansion situation. Their economy, however, it's quite terrible in my opinion, because you've just got no efficiency anywhere. Like, most other nations have upkeep of holy shrines. What is that modifier? That's packing a punch in.
It's a temporary one.
Yeah, that's...
It was event spawned.
16, 18, so it goes away this year. That'll get you back to 50. I was gonna say, one of these have to be at least 50%. Okay.
And
production needs to be higher, modifier.
I was frankly focusing on, you know, just getting the numbers up any way I could.
Yeah. I'm not saying you did it wrong. I'm just saying it's just in a bad state because of they've got no efficiency anyway.
I'm well aware of that.
You focus the gold, which is good.
Previous decisions, but I got it into a place where he can work on efficiency now and really get the economy kick-started. He's already, like, actually making a decent amount of money.
Yeah. I feel like
but
he should focus the gold
way more
next session.
and
Get each one to around 10 Diplo dev. And, like, somehow... And then increase his normal production in trade modifiers, so that way the inflation... Like, I'd say you should be making around 100 ducats from gold.
Yep.
At this point, with all these gold provinces.
I also just didn't want to spend
all that Diplo on it.
More
yeah.
Friggin' monarch points that I didn't have.
If you just take the economic approach of, it's fine. Everything's fine.
Yeah, the issue is it's not fine when you're lagging behind on tech. And
it's fine.
There's a good ruler in now. He's
what is he?
I think
566? Oh my.
Yeah. So
and he's 23, so he'll stay around forever.
Really quickly.
Yeah.
And he's a monarchist candidate, so he's going to be in there for a long time.
Manpower recovery, yearly legitimacy, yearly prestige. Okay, yeah, that's better than oh my god, that's so much better than the status. Why would you ever want anything other than this monarchist?
Because if the monarchist is a terrible ruler, they rule for life.
Yeah, that's true, but still. Like...
So it's essentially you get the option to choose between, you know, a ruler that's only going to serve for a little while, even if they're not as good. You know, you can just try and roll for a better one, or if they're just straight up better than the monarchist, then yeah, you're gonna want to get the status.
If you pick a status, it changes it by whichever option you pick, it changes it by 33, correct? Let's assume that. Yeah, because that's the Dutch one, so I assume it'd be the same for this. So if you picked a status right now, it'd still be monarchist, but would he still do the re-election in 4 years? Because it was a status candidate?
There would still be a re-election in 4 years.
Okay, so that's fine. You just always keep it over in the monarchist side, unless when it's at that, like, 11, like, when it's very close to going into status, if that ruler that you have to pick for monarchists, it's just terrible, then sure, I'd do it. Because then it's only 4 years.
At one point, I had a choice between...
Currently, the real Andalusia player is intoxicated wandering through a casino in Vegas.
I see. Well then.
I know, very important information. I'm sure he'd oblige with me sharing that.
Hey, you know, he's rolling all those ducats I made him.
Exactly. Innovative, you've done all the decisions, you should get a trade company in India soon. Is it still colonizing or something? I swear you had one over here. Yeah, it's still colonizing.
It's in,
in, West New Guinea. West New Guinea.
And I just started colonizing those because no one else was, and I asked
That's really weird how they're not, because they're typically
bizarre.
alright land. Like, they have spices.
I got spices and tropical wood there.
Yeah, it's high chance for spices and stuff. Tropical wood. Yeah, it's 18% for spices, 18% for wood, 18% for incense, all over.
I have no idea how Mandau became Andalusian either. It just, you know, I went over there and noticed, oh, hey, that's mine. I should start colonizing over here because I'm kind of done in Africa, because even though there's still open spots, didn't want me messing with Congo. And, well, apparently, those open spots were promised to Congo.
Yeah. I think, aesthetically also, just one person in New Guinea is nice.
Yes, I 100% agree. Just leave it to Andalusia.
But
it'll be fine.
Lastly, let's look at... So you've got, like, 0 universities. I don't even think you have the tech for it yet. Oh, you do?
I don't have the tech for it yet.
I think you do. No, Tech
I've
17.
been building
Okay.
manufactories like crazy.
Yeah, I'd say that's about 20 or something. That's good.
Yeah.
Again, if you
And
get
there
that
were
production efficiency.
almost none at the beginning.
Yeah.
So
I
most
built
of those
10
20
this session.
were ones I built.
I built my first building this session, and I built plenty of them.
Jeez.
Yeah, so when you get that production efficiency modifier, because I have confirmed it with my own math, that these numbers aren't actually affected by your country's modifiers and your province modifiers. These are just flat numbers.
Okay.
So that production efficiency, when it's say at 50%, it's saying that it'll increase goods. Firstly, it increases goods produced by 1, which will then is affected by your production efficiency. So your production income is your goods produced times your production efficiency, I think. No, it's... I fucking forget. I know I'm speaking the truth, but I'm not speaking it correctly. Don't worry about it. Anyway, basically, you need more production efficiency. Once you get that, the economic situation will be fine, which I assume you get by getting trade ideas. But you can't get trade ideas next because you need, like, quantity or offensive.
Yeah,
I'd say quantity.
Quantity just to get
More men.
Andalusian troops that can just soak up fire like it was.
Yeah, I'd definitely say just quantity, just because even though you're soaking up things, you've also got that morale to stay there soaking up things. You've got the goods produced, like vassal force limit. I hate that stat. I think it's worthless. Just because I hate vassals. Shut up.
Unless you're really playing a vassal heavy game, it is pretty worthless.
But yeah, fire received is one of the strongest things in the game. Like Russia has 10%, and you have 15, but then Russia has the extra 10% on its units.
Yeah.
But still.
Which is limited.
Which he gets for free every few years. But yeah, no, I think overall you're doing fine. You need to control that Sevilla node. That'll really increase your income because then you can actually push money out of the Ivory Coast into somewhere useful. Push that Safi node into Seville. Like if you killed like honestly, if you go to the trade value map mode, which I don't think you would have hotkeyed, Spain is so poor. It's dirt poor.
Yeah.
Like the Ivory Coast and Timbuktu are like 6 times richer than Spain. Safi is 1,000,000 times richer than Spain. So this 50 ducats in there is literally all incoming. Yeah, it's dumb. It's so stupid.
Take the Sevilla node and you're fine.
Yeah, that's your entire game plan for next session, I think. I know other people will see this, but I think they're already expecting it. You need to take Sevilla node.
I'm not going to be playing next session.
Yeah. I'm talking to like Toshin as if he were here, you know. But yeah, manpower buildings are also very required. I'd say manpower buildings over economy buildings, just so that
building manpower buildings at the end of the session.
Yeah, I think you only just unlocked the training fields though, so you probably were building the other ones. But yeah, which are also not affected by the normal thing. So it says plus 1,250 for 100% modifier, but that adds another 100% to the 165 that you already have in Fez. Like, well, actually, I think you already built one. No, it'll add another 50% to that 165% you have in Fez. And with Fez, I'd turn off the production development and turn on 25% local manpower modifier. So that's another, like, 25%. So you get around 200% from Fez alone.
Yeah.
250 once you build that other building there. But yeah, overall, this has been 25 minutes. That's about the average. Reforms, I'd prefer the max cultures instead of the autonomy change, just because when you're you don't really have much land to aggressively expand into that you need to lower that autonomy fast. Early game you did, now you don't. 10% advisor cost, it's my favorite. mainly also because you don't have any admin, but if you want that production efficiency, you'll need like trade ideas and stuff, which are admin policies. Either way, you stack that, because don't the Andalusians have a advisor cost thinger? Or is that the
Uh,
Moroccans?
believe it's the Moroccans, but I can check. Give me one
Did he
moment.
keep Moroccan ideas? No, thank God.
No, they,
Thank God.
I, no,
Um,
that would have been foolish.
yeah. Um,
I like Moroccan ideas, but they're not as good
thank
as
God the AI
English.
took it for you. Um, States General, I dislike it. I prefer the General Estates, plus 10% production, or even parliamentary. Aristocratic courts, useless in my opinion for most nations. Number of states, that's the better one, because currently, yeah, you're lacking behind in 11 states. Um, which isn't actually your important ones, they're mostly overseas. And,
Yep.
yeah, I mean, you got that East African stuff, but none of that's really gold. So yeah, it's fine. Yeah, overall, your subs have done a good job of like fighting that war. I'm pretty sure Calico would be the reason why, for teaching a few things, I would hope, because they do that normally when they fight wars. They tell people, like, they organize um, the the battles. Uh, and yeah, Seraph did a good job, I assume, increasing economy. I'd say at least increase it by 90 income, maybe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was about 90.
Okay. Yeah. So overall, pretty darn good. Yeah. Let's look at one dumb thing, because that's what I typically do. Like this man with a singlet. Why has he got a singlet? It's like, it's not that hot. Like, this guy has a full fucking costume with a hatchet. Meanwhile, this guy has a singlet with a... One man looks more ready for war than the other.